Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in this video let's take a look at one of the games played during the match between Hikaru Nakamura and Komodo chess engine. In that match, Nakamura played against each of the 20 skill levels currently available in live chess. The blitz time control was 5 minutes plus 5 seconds increment. In this game, Nakamura was playing against Komodo's hardest level. Nakamura started with b3, this is the Larsen's opening. In the first 5 games, Nakamura started with d4, but then switched to b3 for the remaining 15 games. This is a hypermodern chess opening which is named after the Danish grandmaster Bent Larsen. White is going to fianchetto his bishop, which will put pressure on black's king side. d5, bishop b2, knight f6, g3, knight c6. Now Nakamura is also fianchettoing his second bishop, e5. Meanwhile, black is grabbing the initiative in the center of the board. Bishop d6, d3, black castles king side, knight d2, bishop g4, knight e2, queen d7. Already if you castle king side, then black can play bishop h3, offer an exchange of light square bishops and weaken white's king side. That's why we see h3. But in this game we will see that Nakamura is not even going to castle. Bishop e6, a3, and we have this Hippopotamus setup, which looks almost ridiculously passive, but the Hippo is ready to crush anyone who gets too close. With this setup against weaker levels, Nakamura had a huge success, but as I've already mentioned, in this game he was facing the hardest level, and see what are his chances. h6, king f1, Nakamura is going to castle by hand. Of course, you can't even castle king side, because in that case you will lose the pawn on h3. That's why we see king f1, rook d8, king g1, a6, king h2. Look at this, guys, this is like trolling the engine, but as you can see, Nakamura has acquired the waiting strategy. h5 and king g1, this is just awesome, guys. h4, g4, white still wants to keep close to the king side. Knight e7, knight f3, knight g6, black is protecting the pawn on h4 square, knight g5 and knight h7. And already after the exchange of knights on h7 square and knight c3, he said that most likely I would get crushed in this game. Right now the pawn on d5 square is under attack, c6 was played, now comes e4. White is stopping black from playing f5, which could cause white a lot of problems, because if black can manage to open up the f file, this can really get very dangerous for white. But this e4 move also has its downsides. When you are playing e4, already you are allowing black knight to find its outpost on f4 square. Bishop c5 was played, queen f1, queen e7, queen e1. Still Nakamura is making waiting moves. Meanwhile, black is intensifying the pressure. Knight f4, king h2, king g8, rook f1, d takes e4, d takes e4, rook d7, a4, queen c5, bishop a1, f6. Komodo is not hurrying, is solidifying his position for a final blow. Bishop d1, a5, bishop b2 and b5. Of course, already at this point black has a huge advantage. Pawn takes b5, pawn takes b5, bishop f3, rook c8. Now black will start exploiting the weakness of the c file. Knight d5, bishop takes b2, knight takes f4, e takes f4, rook takes b2, queen e5, rook a2. White's position is just terrible. Now comes a4, using the fact that the pawn on b3 is pinned. Queen a1. Nakamura is offering an exchange of queens, but Komodo is merciless. Rook c3, both rejecting the offer of exchange of queens and at the same time attacking the bishop on f3. King g2, king h7, rook a3, we see a takes b3, c takes b3, and now comes the second rook, rook d3. And now white is simply busted, as Nakamura said. Bishop d1, and already after this move the engine shows mate in 18 moves, which means that there is no way to escape from Komodo's deadly grip. Queen takes e4 check, f3, rook d2 check, king h1, queen d3, the rook on f1 is under attack, king g1, but now comes this beautiful tactical shot, bishop takes g4. Black is simply blowing apart white's king side. The idea is that if h takes g4, then this time the h-pawn is marching forward with the threat of h2 check, followed by queen takes f1 checkmate. If rook f2, simply rook takes d1. Or after bishop takes g4, if f takes g4, then this time queen g3 check, and again white king is getting checkmated. After bishop takes g4, Nakamura blundered his queen by playing queen b1, and after queen takes b1 he resigned. We could see that the super solid strategy which acquired Nakamura didn't help him, and the mighty monster Komodo just blew apart the poor hippo. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave your comments, and for more games, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.